Hi, my name's Blue, and today this short video is going to demonstrate about plyometric training sessions. What are plyometrics? Plyometrics can be defined as an ultra high intensity exercise whereby the movement is performed maximally with long and frequent rest intervals. This is to prevent overload and reducing the risk of injury. There are several types of plyometrics which differ by the impact orientation. Where the reversible action is stimulated by the contact with the ground. For example, depth jumps, bounds, hops, skips, and box jumps. The aim of any plyometric training session is to stimulate the stretch shortening cycle. The counter movement, the opposite to landing on the floor, initiates the stretch reflex that leads to an eccentric muscle action, which is classified as an isometric contraction phase, with a subsequent concentric muscle contraction. The phase between the eccentric and concentric muscle action is called the coupling time. During this phase, the elastic energy, different to power and strength, is pivotal energy that improves propulsive force generation. Therefore, when developing plyometric sessions, the emphasis is to reduce the coupling time to maximize elastic energy stored and therefore the utilization of it, which will promote muscle power and rate. As the importance for any athlete is the performance of any movement maximally in a short space amount of time, which is an example of plyometrics. For essentials to optimizing any plyometric session, you want a good and thorough warm up with stretches. This is to make sure that the muscle won't tear or injure itself during these high optimal movements. Maximal effort, so that requires long and frequent rest intervals. The count the amount of contacts on the floor. As you can see below here, we've got beginner, intermediate, and advanced foot contacts on the floor. Plyometric sessions one to 4 times a week, depending on exercise experience and also training volume. In this first clip is just an example of a double arm and double leg bound or hop. The technical points to take from this: a vertical and horizontal jump direction. Start with a comfortable neutral body position, feet shoulder width apart, slight bend in the knees. From the starting point, propel the body forward in a forward direction using arms to swing yourself forward and the legs to generate the vertical and horizontal force. The use of the hip and flexion is the focus of force production during the bounding phase. And as you can see in that first one, the athlete was actually jumping vertically. However, in the second clip here, you can see he's gaining a greater distance. This is all because I was telling him to reduce the contact time on the floor and to emphasize the direction of which I wanted him to jump, so more horizontally than vertically. And this is just a posterior view of the bound, which is another good angle. This is the first progression that I've looked at. It's using hurdles. This is just to emphasize a length of distance, but also a vertical distance. Though the hurdles aren't very high, it does give it an obstacle, which is a stimulus that you can react to in your field setting. There's still no difference in technical points for coaching. If you look in this clip here, there's no difference in coaching elements. We're still looking at reducing the amount of contact time. So he's actually landing on his toes opposed to the back of his heels, and then using that elastic energy to propel himself forward. That's my progression 1. Progression 2 is actually increasing the hurdle height. So we're looking at not necessarily reducing the contact time, but increasing the height, so a bit more vertical jump. This just incorporates different muscles that can help with propulsive force and movement in rugby. In this third clip, it's just the takeoff phase. We're just looking at how the contact is actually on. He's landing on his toes and propelling himself forward using his toes, using the momentum from the first jump into the second jump, propelling off his toes, not from his heels. This is my third progressive one. Now you could do unilateral bounds, but I thought it was good enough to go straight into unilateral bounds that was just shown here. Now this is the mimicking a sidestep. You know, this is the closest thing to rugby that you can see. The technical points that I want you to take from this, and it's really important because of the injury. You know, and it's not very stable, and it's important to make sure that the athlete's knees and ankles are stable. So in this, the only technical difference this is he can use his arms, but when he lands, he's got to land with his full foot on the floor, not on his toe. But when he's using the propulsive force, he's taken off, as shown before, using his toes. So it's all about the landing, is making sure that the athlete focuses on the hurdle and landing on the full of his foot. And then we've got this fourth progression. It's just holding a rugby ball, so reducing the arm swing. And this is exactly the movements that a rugby player use, you know. And this maximal force will only optimize that side step, so changing of direction and actually exploding off that foot into the gap. Thanks for watching this little clip. Hopefully that'll help you with some explosive exercises. Mine are very specific to rugby. Obviously you can add weight, which is greater resistance in the double bound going forward. The unilateral bounds are the closest thing to rugby sidestep that I could think of. Hope you enjoyed my video. If you've got any feedback or you want to get any more information, send me an email. Thanks again.